up, everyone? It's your girl, Fantastic Frankie, recording live at the Microsoft Studio with my girl, Tatiana King.
Hey.
Oh my gosh. So excited to have her here. If you guys don't know, you definitely need to check her out. And DJ Ben.
Yes.
Yes, on For All Nerds. They are a huge inspiration for blurs everywhere, okay, here in New York City. So tell them where they can find you, what you do, things like that.
Yep. So as you said, Tatiana King Jones. I am part of For All Nerds. It is a podcast about geek and pop culture from the perspective of people of color. A lot to say, but it's even better to listen to. We talk about everything from gaming, movies, film, comics, anime, everything you could think of that is potentially geek culture, but also crosses over into pop culture. And as I said, it's from the lens of people of color. So, you know, we put a little flavor on it. It's not boring or anything like that. I know a lot of times people are like, oh, they're going to talk all day about their geek thoughts. It's like, no, it's really fun. So that's what we do. And we are on pretty much every platform, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you listen to podcasts, you can get us.
Love it.
Yep.
I decided to start off with Tatiana because I wanted to speak with someone who speaks just like me. New Yorkers in here, New York boys.
East New York, what up?
Yes, Brooklyn. I forgot. Brooklyn voices out here, ready to roll. So today, if you don't notice, we're here to talk about Overhaul and the My Hero Academia arc that just dropped. I decided to wear my Eraserhead shirt. As you guys know, I love him. He's the GOAT. But also, he played a huge part in this arc. And it looks like he's going to play an even bigger part as this goes. So, let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
What got you into My Hero Academia?
You know what? It does have elements that most anime, have. Like, it has all of it has the fan service. It has the callbacks to previous animes. Like, it has clear inspirations to other stories. But for My Hero, at first it was just funny. Like, it was just entertaining. First of all, the premise of everyone on Earth essentially has superpowers. That drew me in immediately because there's always the one special or, the one token. But to say, oh, this is the norm, everybody, generally speaking, can all have some type of power. And then for them to have different layers of powers, like, some have physical powers, some have mental powers. And then the fact that some people physically change because of their powers, like, I just thought it was amazing. And then the fact, like I said, it is funny. That first few episodes when you meet Deku and he goes to the doctor and the doctor's like, nah, bro, you ain't got nothing. And he is just I think that's one of the funniest images ever. And I think we're going to get that on a t-shirt. But it's
which one? When his mom rose up in his
when he was just
room?
sitting there with his whole life shattered. And he's just like, he's just like, I'm a clown. I will never survive. Just that. But even deeper past the entertainment aspect, it's just it's a real story. Like, it's a really humanistic story. And the fact that regardless of anything, Deku's going to push the envelope. Like, he was told, you will never be a hero because you never have powers. But the fact that he overcame that, yes, clearly he had help. Thank you, All Might. But the fact is that he was still prepared to make it happen for himself. And just the fact that the first season I was in tears at certain points, pretty early on, that led me to understand that these characters, had a deepness to them and a richness to them, and it's just grown throughout the series. So, I'm a longtime anime head anyway.
Right.
So this is one of my top favorite animes ever.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. But yeah, that's just the fact that it's just so not just entertaining, but it's also something you can really connect with.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the most nuanced animes I've ever watched, where every time I say, yo, this nigga whack, Sue, I saw Sue, I'm like, what this frog bitch about to do?
But at first it was just like, all right, what you gonna do?
And then they show how they all cook. And then it's like if you watch, I guess, Fame, where everybody's at LaGuardia and they could all sing. Everybody has a capability to sing, just like everyone has a quirk. But in this show in particular, they show that these people are working their damnedest to do it. Like, even in this arc, what's his name? Red Riot. right?
Oh yeah.
I always thought
he came up.
Was fire, right?
He glowed up. I almost said glued up. He glowed
up. Yes, but I always thought his stuff was fire, and that he always, or even Togata, right? Phasing through. I didn't know they were like, yo, that's not a good power. But because he worked and trained, he made it fight where he lost it at one point.
Yeah.
And was still fucking up Overhaul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was incredible.
It's a good point you make, that the things that you and I would think, oh, why would that not be a good power? And then for someone to sit there and really go through the details of why this person, like you said, maybe phasing through things isn't such a good idea. You can't breathe.
Right.
And all this other stuff. And the fact that you see these characters fight through their training, they fight through the naysayers, they fight through their own doubts.
Right.
I just think that's incredible, because it's just reflective of us in the real world. Like, we all have our own quirks.
Right.
You were like you're an amazing person talking about geek stuff, geek culture. You're doing this on your own, and you're also learning, right? You're learning as you go along. You're becoming stronger as you go along, and you see that in the heroes as well.
Right.
You know, we're not phasing through walls or running around like frogs, but the point is, we all have our own quirks, and it's kind of very applicable to real life, and that's probably the other reason why I love this series.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think another reason why I love it so much is the character design, specifically for the villains. It's, to me, unmatched. I've never seen something so beautiful, and honestly, the same thing with the villains. I feel like they're very nuanced. Personally, I think my favorite villain is Stain. And I think as a black woman, right, I'm always looking for there's cracks in this surface, right, dystopia look. But I thought I think Overhaul looked cooler.
He looks cooler.
Right. But of the two,
Stain looked like a turtle.
He did look like a turtle, but his gear was fuego. His gear was fuego.
Yeah, with the big Ryu, headband and all that stuff. Like, I get it, like that's fire. He looked like a turtle. He ain't got no nose and all that.
Who scared you more? Like, who did you fear more as a villain?
And I'm gonna be missing names in my head, because I have 50 names just floating there.
I call them by their by how they look. So
right.
Todoroki, I call him Icy Hot.
Icy Hot.
Yeah, and if we don't call them by their name, what I'll do is I'll put a key on here. So don't worry, but call them however you see.
So. Okay, so overall, obviously, I just the sheer lack of care for anybody, I would say definitely him. But I guess from a level of just straight fear, like, yo, this person will kill you at a moment's notice, with the hands.
The hands is terrifying.
The hands. I don't know why.
Oh, Decay guy. I don't know his name neither. Yeah, hands guy is.
And that's the crazy thing. And I want everyone to know. I know these characters' names, but it's just like being put on the spot and had to say their name. I'm just like, oh my god, I don't know what their names are.
We don't speak Japanese. I always say this. We don't speak Japanese, y'all. This is the best we can do.
Well,
man.
What I try to do is I try to watch both the dub and the sub.
Right.
Like, just because I also like to hear how the voices are matched, like the American voices or the English voices versus the Japanese voices. So the voice actors. But yeah, Hands McGee, he's a problem. He's a problem. But again, like, problems just in the case of, like, there's just no remorse, there's no care, there's just like, I will kill you. Like, if homeboy was walking down the street right now, I would cross the street and keep it moving, because I know that's nothing but bad news.
Right.
Just and any villains that play with their prey as if they're just a toy.
Right.
That clearly bothers me, because I'm just like, they really have no regard for life.
Yeah, I agree. I think the fear I had with Stain is that he's the only villain I saw with purpose, right? He was like, this is
so he says.
So he says, you think he was just killing people just to kill him?
No, the reason so he says, because he's a little cuckoo. Like,
crazy.
My thing is, yes, he has his own, what he believes is his calling and his life's purpose, and that you say he has a reason.
Right.
At the same time, it's a twisted reason.
Yeah, but no one got more resolved than a crazy person. You see somebody on the train and they yelling, you're not going to get in their way. For those who don't know or don't live in New York, there's always one guy on the train screaming at night, right? So they sleep all day, so they can be extra crazy at night. And that they have a resolve that is unmatched. So that's terrifying to me.
The resolve, and I will say the redeeming quality of Stain is the fact that yeah, he wants, like you said, he has his reasons and all that, but he will leave certain heroes alone because he feels like they're worthy. Exactly. Like it's all about worthiness and honor and all that other stuff. And if you do it like that, it's kind of like a Ronin type of thing. I'm like, all right, cool. But, you know, again, at the end of the day, you're killing folk.
Exactly. There's a scene where it's right when they defeat him. He's like, he gets away from Endeavor and all them, and they're all paralyzed in fear because he's walking towards them slowly, and then I think he he punctures a lung, so he stops moving.
I mean, his quirk is wild.
Yo, it's
his quirk is wild. I mean, you know, just that little bit of blood that will fuck you up like that. So excuse me, but
I always wondered with him and with creepy schoolgirl, how did they find out how their quirk worked? Like, what were they doing that they ingested blood to be like, oh shoot, this works this way?
See, now that's I would like to actually see play out on the anime. Like, I would like them to do the backstory and figure out, okay, how, to your point, how did you learn this quirk? I mean, as far as I know, most kids, it just manifests.
Right.
You know, whether it's an accident or on purpose, it manifests. And then, you know, either something terrible happens or something that, like an accident happens and it's not a big deal. With that, those are like, I mean, if you're using like, you know, Fox X-Men type stuff, those like Omega level type quirks, like, you know, stuff that is incredibly dangerous and very hard to control if you don't have the resolve and all that stuff.
I love it. I love it. Speaking of resolve, one thing I didn't understand in this Overhaul arc was that they had a full table meeting with children, teachers, everything, about how serious this guy was. And he basically was submitting a cure to the quirks. And then they didn't call any of the top heroes. No Mount Lady, no Genius, no Endeavor, who's the #1 hero at the time. Why do you think that is?
First I looked at it in just the sense of storytelling.
Right.
They want to introduce new characters. They want to spread out the world, and like the whole first 2-3 seasons was all really about those characters. So I figured they didn't want to recycle the same ones because those characters in ways had their own arcs. So I thought just from a storytelling aspect, that's not what they want to do. It from a logical perspective, you know, I think perhaps maybe Overhaul knew too much about those other heroes. Maybe he didn't know enough about Dragon Lady and the rest of them. So and again, I'm just speculating here. I haven't read the manga, so if it's revealed in the manga, I don't know, y'all. But I just think that maybe because these people, like, remember how they explained that when a villain doesn't know what your quirk is, then you have a leg up on them.
Right.
You know, obviously until you reveal it, but until that time, you have the high ground at that point. So that could be it. It could just be these are newer heroes and they don't know their quirks, so they do have kind of an element of surprise there. You know, besides that, like, you know, you can also imagine maybe these heroes are out of town. Maybe they're off.
That's the only thing I can think of, because I've had this discussion with other people. And what they always give me is they didn't think it was that big of a deal. I was like, they knew it was that big of a deal because they had this meeting. You know, like, they knew it was a big deal.
I'm meeting with the police too.
Right. Yeah. There's no way. I was surprised that they actually let the children come. You know what I mean? Like, especially like Deku, and Gravity Girl and Sue and stuff like that. I was like, why are you letting these students pull up? You know what I mean? And you know they still haven't gotten there. Deku just got to a point where he could fight without breaking his hands.
Right.
Which, speaking on that, I love that he's starting to incorporate Gran Torino style with him. And I was like, that's a nice touch. You see him propel all over, like,
jetting everywhere. Exactly. Doing his shoot style. Hell yeah.
I love it. So that's it. And I also thought maybe they just don't like Endeavor. No one likes him. Right?
Well, Endeavor's an asshole, but that's, you know, that's neither here nor there. It's you know, and I wanted to kind of go into what you just said about why would they involve the kids. I do know, at least in Deku's situation and a couple of the other kids, like, they've been through Stain. They've been through things they weren't supposed to be through in the first place. They've been through, or at least were adjacent to, All for One's madness. So they've seen the worst of the worst, at least up until this point. They've seen the worst of the worst. They've experienced the worst of the worst. And, you know, at the end of the day, like, it's clear that they are beyond advance from previous classes. Like, they're beyond advanced. They're beyond the point of them just being regular kids or regular novice heroes. Like they're well past that point. And really, and they're the ones who didn't even mean to get involved, but got involved when they first saw Eri. Like when they first saw her and then was like, are you okay? She's like, and she tried to keep them away. Like they were committed to the cause. And it's just like, how is Aizo and the rest of them going to really stop them?
Right.
Like they've shown already that when they're so committed to something, and then when they're so deeply involved in a cause or a situation, like they're going to get involved in some way or another. So to me, I think the adults were like, look, rather than them potentially going rogue, let's bring them into the fold and hopefully all do it together in a planned manner
where we could like control it.
And
that's one of my favorite scenes, when they meet Eren for the first time and Deku is just being like unprofessional and Togata's there and he's like, yo, get it together. So he's talking to Overhaul and Eren with his mask off. He's looking at him crazy like, yo, my man, what's good? And Togata walks up like, hey, your mask fell off. Must have fell off because you talking to this stranger with no mask on. And then he's like staring there gaping on what's clearly her abuser. Togata again interjects and is like, I think what he means is
because he's more experienced.
Exactly.
He's more experienced and he had to teach him that.
I love that they show that Deku is not. It's no Goku Naruto experience where it's like instantly they're the best at what they do. It's like
it's a learning situation. It's a learning experience and it's required. Like it's necessary. Otherwise, I think the show would be boring. Like you got to see these characters go through the ups and downs. You got to see them go through the dirt and realize. And I like that they I mean, that's anime in general, but they vocalize and have exposition on all of that. Like, like when Deku's like, oh crap, if I reacted differently, he might have killed her on the spot or killed me on the spot.
Right. Exactly.
So I think that's important. It's very important to see that.
And I think it's funny that they draw Togata to look so similar to All Might because his philosophy.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, "This must be a clone."
His little blank eyes, though, just sent me every time. Every time, little Mickey Mouse blank eyes, it sends me. But to your point, and obviously that's on purpose, right? They want you to draw the parallels between All Might. They want you to see like this was the chosen one, and he's a template copy, if you will. But there's more to him than just this blank face looking guy.
And they showed that, right? Yeah. He wasn't good. No one, his father and them was like, we don't got the type of quirks wherever Icy Hot, he knew he was going to be in UA, right? He didn't even take the test, right? His whole family
he was
got
invited.
fired. Yeah, he's rich too, but I have another theory on that. But, he knew growing up, I'm going to be in UA. I have the type of quirk that will be able to save lives. But for Togata and his family, they were like, this is just really a nuisance. Sometimes we could grab something in another room, but we don't really use it in that way. And to see that was all like perseverance and hard work was dope. And to see him lose his quirk really hurt me. Of all of it, I was like, dang.
Did that really?
Yeah, because I wanted Bullfoot to lose it, or it's like, I don't know, but not
like a cheat sheet with all the names of the characters on the side.
You guys, I will show up, but y'all know what I'm talking about. The one who looked like Eraserhead from the top three, the big.
Okay.
But I wanted someone, not him, to lose it, especially once I saw him really get busy against Overhaul. And I mean, he's still optimistic, but I was like, this is hard. This guy been working hard, and then he loses his mentor and everything, his livelihood. Right, this is how he's gonna make bread. And what he's been training for his whole life, all gone in a matter of it probably was 2 hours. It's crazy.
It was wild. It was wild.
So where do you think he's gonna go? What do you see in the future for him?
For well, I think that this is just going to push him further. Like he's already proven, or Lemillion, but he's already proven that he's not going to stop. I mean, we saw him with no power still fighting.
Right.
We saw him still getting stabbed repeatedly. We still saw him trying to save Eri. Like nothing stopped him. And it was, again, very shades to Deku. Like, remember, we saw Deku in the beginning when he didn't have anything, but he was still fighting. Like when he was trying to save Bakugo from the slime monster. He had nothing. He had no offer, one for all. There was nothing that he had but his perseverance and his will and his hero's heart. Right. So I think Lemillion's not going to lose his hero's heart. He may develop trauma.
Right.
Because I would imagine that losing your quirk is essential. It's essentially like if you lose an arm or something like that. Like that's a part of you that you now have to work through. Yeah, he's going to get it back or got it back, but
Yeah, so you feel like he's gonna get it from Eren?
I
I think they'll make a cure.
Oh no, I think they're gonna make, because if I'm not mistaken, maybe I imagine this, that they were able to recover the both the bullet and the antidote.
Yeah, so they, not the antidote, but they recovered the bullets. But I think Hans guy took that.
He did take it.
He took it,
when he took his other arm.
But now we know Eren, and Eraser had talked to him about it too. Like, yo, once we get Eren under control, we can reverse you to the point where you had your quirk.
Right. So I think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think so too. There's no way someone on that level. I don't know. Like
it could be. I mean, it could be a situation like that. Like, and again, it reminds me of people who think of a runner that has been paralyzed. Like, there may be 1,000 tools and training and things that they can go through to potentially get their life back to the way it was, but it's not going to be quite the same, which is why I mentioned like the trauma. He may not be the same Lemillion, but I think that it's not going to stop him from wanting to continue being a hero.
Do you think that they'll use Eren to bring All Might back?
To full stack? No. I mean, no. When I say no, that I don't think they'll do it. No, please don't do it, because to me that's like a cheat.
It's a cheat, but it's like when a show introduces time travel, right? Now you gotta out for everything, right?
And that's why I don't want that to be. I don't want that to be like the Deus Ex Machina, like, oh, we fixed everything because of her. Like,
yeah. And well, the one thing about her though that they mention is she has no control, and that's gonna take years to do. And you see him training to do it longer. I personally love All Might. I almost cried when he fought All for One.
Oh, I cried.
Everybody was watching him, and he took the last bit of strength to like put his arm up and bulk up just his arm.
In bawling tears. I looked like Deku. I was tears shattered, all that stuff.
It was beautiful. I was like, why is a cartoon making me feel this way? It's crazy. But I don't know. That was something I was looking at. I was like, now Eren's here. If she fixes All Might Jr., what's to stop her from fixing All Might to the point where reversing him before he injured his lungs?
Right.
But then he still wouldn't have his powers because Deku has it now, right?
Well,
so two people can't have it.
Well, he passed on the power, right? I don't know, and you're right. I don't know if there's been a situation where two people had it at the same time.
Right.
I don't know if they've explored that in like the previous I'll keep saying All for One for Alls in the previous ones. I don't know if that was a situation where once you pass it off, you're done.
Right.
But yeah, that remains to be seen. But I don't want them to, just simply because, like, this was a driving factor for so much of Deku's story and so much of everyone's story, and even the gentleman who passed with that can see the future.
Right.
Like, for him to like let him die and then say, oh, we could fix All Might, it's just like,
right,
it cheapens it a little bit.
Well, he knows now that he can fix it. He's one of those other characters that I was like, not that he was whack. Once I found out how his quirk worked, I was like, man. But then, so they had him on the front lines running in the underground, and I was like, why they got him up front? Because it's and then instantly, as soon as I said it, 5 people rolled up, and he just was washing niggas, like throwing stuff and stuff. And I was like, that's what I love. Every time I doubt someone, and I'm like, what?
How they gonna do this?
He was like, oh, but I've seen so many possibilities in my life. I know how to scrap.
Right. Right.
Incredible.
I think that's one of the most fire quirks you can ever have.
Yeah. Well, you think so? Because he can only see one person over 24 hours.
That's all you need. Because my thing is, what do you do? A supervillain? Or what are you trying to do? Like, why do you need multiple people at one time? Like, if you have a target and a set goal, then that's all you need.
I see what you're saying. Just the one, right?
Yeah.
I guess for times like that situation, he wish he could see more than one.
Oh,
right?
Sure. But that's what his backup for. That's what everybody else is for. It's like,
and it was just getting intel, right? He was like, I gotta pick the right nigga who to get in it, because if Overhaul kill him tomorrow and I got that, I'm SOL. You know what I mean? So
that's hilarious.
I felt him. I felt him on that, but no, I loved it, and I'm very excited to see. I mean, it's going to be another like popcorn arc, right?
Yeah.
About them taking the test. I really hated how they've been like shading Bakugo and his education.
Why saying that he's remedial?
No,
ever
not
since
just that.
because he had to take the test this summer. So did as your friend Icy Hot had.
Yo, Icy Hot ain't worried. He rich. He gonna be good. The Bakugo poor. No, ever since he got in that fight with Deku, right? They were getting trained by the top 3. They were getting valuable information, and Bakugo couldn't come to training because he was in trouble. And I was like, yo, it's one thing to be in detention. They could have had him cleaning up the dorms or something.
Them's the breaks. Like, yo, at the end of the day, you're a kid and you got to suffer the consequences. And I think that's also why I like that. No, everyone can't be involved. Right. You have to suffer the consequences of your actions or inactions.
Right. But I mean, Deku was in that fight too, and he was getting trained. I just felt like there's one way to punish the kid, but this is their education. You know what I'm saying? He's getting
educated. Just he's not going up after Overhaul, but he's getting
no. I'm talking about this was last season when we first meet Togata and them. They roll up to the class and show them like how you could fight.
Oh, that training.
So that training Bakugo couldn't come to, and I was like, this is why this nigga always mad because y'all won't let him live, yo.
He'll be fine. Like. And if you're talking about that training, but it's not like, in Luminion's case, it might be the very last time he'll be able to do that. But with the others, what I guess my point is, there's the other students are still there. He can still train with them, like, just at a different time. Yeah. Like, I still think that Bakugo's still going to be able to get his training in one way or another. And at the end of the day, he's going to do it his way as well, because he's very stubborn, as you know, and all that. So... he'll be fine. Yeah. He'll be fine. He's very advanced, and everyone, Aizo and the rest, know that he'll be fine.
Maybe that's why they fuck up. They're like, yo, Deku need this, but Bakugo
needs
this.
And also from a story perspective, he's not All Might Junior, but he's the next coming. He's the next coming of the hero to save everybody. So they have to involve him in everything.
Exactly. I'm excited. So I'm definitely excited to see. I know. No, there's a new movie coming out in a couple weeks, right?
Yes.
So I'm excited to see what your thoughts are on it and stuff like that when that comes out. But I'm really excited to see these next arcs, especially what Hands Guy is gonna do. Yeah.
So. I wonder if they're gonna just revisit some of the characters that they've effectively abandoned over the last thing, and also some of the writing jokes, like the whole Invisible Girl. I don't know where the hell she at. Everyone says that she's there. Like, it's like a kind of an Ant-Man situation where they're like, oh, they're there, you just can't see them. Right. It's just like, are they really? So they're just kind of retconning them back in. So some of the running jokes, that's cool, but I would love to see what's going on with some of the other comedic relief people like Mineta, Great Rush and all that stuff. Like, what's going on with him? What's going on with the other students who may not be top S-class level, but they've been introduced to us and have had lots of backstory. So I wonder what they're up to now.
Absolutely. I really hope, and I trust them enough.
Oh yeah,
where they're gonna go.
It's gonna be incredible. Like, this season was absolutely incredible. I love to see that Deku got his Super Saiyan moment, and it was wild.
It was. He actually was drawn just like Goku when he turned Super Saiyan God the first time. Yeah, with the pink and stuff.
I'm just saying, when Deku beat that nigga's soul to the not even the ground, to the mantle. Like, I just seeing that and seeing his glow up, his come up. Like, it's just this series just has so much emotion in it and so much heart, and it just makes me so invested in it. So I'm really interested in seeing what comes next.
I agree. I'm so excited. I'm so excited you came here for my first episode. I really couldn't find anyone better. I really appreciate it.
I'm glad. And congratulations, this is your first year, right?
Yeah, this is my first year today, y'all. Thank you all for supporting me. So one more time for the fans, please tell me and them where they can find you.
Yes, this is Tatiana King Jones from For All Nerds, and you can find me all over the interwebs at Tatiana King. You can also find me at For All Nerds. We have a podcast that talks about geek and pop culture. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. And you can go to forallnerds.com and get some amazing articles and reviews and interviews. And also go to For All Nerds TV on YouTube to see some dope videos.
Yep. Excited. Make sure you check them both out. It's an amazing podcast, and honestly, we get half my jokes.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. So as you guys know, you'll catch me with my hot takes every Friday. But until next time, have a fantastic week, my friends.